In a couple days time, I am going on the trip of a lifetime. This is an absolute dream trip of mine. I went to this country back in 2016, and ever since then, one of the things that I've said is that I just want to go back. I want to explore more. In a couple days time, I am headed to New Zealand. Now, New Zealand has a lot of really specific rules for biosecurity because they try really hard to protect their country. It's an isolated country, and so they just have a lot of really strict rules. So if you are going there, do your own research on what's allowed, what's not allowed, what you're gonna take, how you're gonna clean it, etc. I'm just gonna take prepackaged, commercially processed food that's really simple, really easy for them to see what is in it, that it's commercially processed, and that makes it a little bit easier. So here is what I am taking. So these are kind of a go-to for me. These are just the Idahoan potatoes, and they don't look like they're easy to get over in New Zealand, so that's one of the reasons that I'm gonna take them with me, because it's kind of just a base food that I use to make some meals with. I've got a couple of Mountain House meals, which I rarely, if ever, use at home anymore, but I do still have some of them around, so I'm taking these ones with me. I have my electrolyte packets. I'm kind of picky about the ones that I like, so I wanted to make sure that I take some with me that I'll be able to drink. So those are going with me. And then I'm taking one of these Bear Creek meals because this is supposed to serve 4 people, so 2 servings I figure will be plenty for out on the trail, and I'm gonna take that with me. For my smaller food items, I have a bunch of stuff in this little bag to keep it all together. I've got a bunch of Rice Krispies in here. They're really lightweight and pack some good calories. I've got some more electrolyte type recovery stuff. I've got a bunch of these because I got them on sale. They were really inexpensive, and they have a little bit of caffeine in there, just a little bump for you. So I have a bunch of those going with me. And then these, which I got from Costco, which are just strawberry yogurt bites. So I have some packets of those. They're 80 calories per packet. I am taking some gels with me because I expect to be hopefully moving pretty quickly and needing a lot of energy, and I don't typically like to stop and take a lot of breaks when I'm hiking. I don't like to sit around and eat, so gels are really nice for me. I like these ones because they're really inexpensive, they have good ingredients, and they give you a really good bump right when you need it. I am taking salmon and tuna packets with me. It doesn't look like these are easy to get in this form over there, and they're something that I eat with a lot of my meals, with lunches and things like that. So I'm gonna be taking those over with me to make sure that I do have them. So right here, I've got all of my sleeping and shelter equipment. So we'll start with the sleeping pad. I've got the Nemo Tensor All Season. This one is a 5.4 all value, so it's gonna handle any kind of weather that New Zealand can throw at me. I've got my little sit pad. I've got the Durston Eggsmid 2. I'm really excited to take this out. I haven't had the pleasure of taking it out on trail yet. I just bought it toward the end of last season, and I just haven't really had the chance to use it. I've been using the smaller Lanshan that I got as well at the end of last season because it's been a little bit more convenient. This will be really nice to take for New Zealand in particular because it's very wet there, and so this is a double wall tent. It's supposed to have some pretty good ventilation, so I think that'll be really nice for taking to a country that has a lot of times close to 100% humidity going on. So definitely important to have that moisture control. I'm trying out this as a tent footprint. So this is just a piece of polycro plastic material. It is window shrink. So what you would put on your windows in the winter and then use the blow dryer to shrink it down. And I've read that these can make a pretty decent tent footprint. So I'm gonna be trying that out. I cut it roughly to the size of the bottom of the Eggsmid, and I'm gonna be taking that with me. It weighs almost nothing. So I am really excited to try that out. I've got my tried, true, and tested REI Magma 15 sleeping bag. This is comfort rated down to 18 degrees Fahrenheit. So the expected snow that I saw in the forecast should be no problem with this by my side. And then I've got my 2 pillow system that I've been working with and have been really enjoying so far. So in here is the Nemo Pillow Elite, which I misplaced the little bag for, so I found this random green one. It's been working fine. And then the Climate X pillow over here, and then the Sun Buff that I use as a pillowcase to keep the two together and also to be able to wash so that my face doesn't just continually get the pillow dirty. Then I have the Gossamer Gear Thin Light 1/8 inch pad. This weighs about 2 ounces, and I'm kind of taking it as a fail-safe for different things, including if for some reason the weather just went totally wild and got way colder than I was expecting and was approaching 10 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just prepared for anything. So this only weighs about 2 ounces and it compacts down really well. So I'm just gonna take that with me. And I figured it's also a closed cell foam, so it's not permeable with water, which means that I can have it on the outside of my pack. I could use it as a sort of shield around the outer of my body if I needed to, even while I was still out in the elements. So it has a lot of different uses that I feel like I could put it to, and I'm just gonna take it with me because it weighs almost nothing anyway. I'm gonna be taking my little Gossamer Gear pot cozy. Inside of that, I'm gonna have this little cup. It's just a really teeny tiny, super lightweight. I don't know where it came from. I got it at a garage sale. I don't know where you could get one of these, but it's really well made. I don't know if you can see if it'll focus here, the welding on there. So it's really well welded on there. It's really sturdy, but it weighs absolutely nothing. This cup is fantastic. So I'm not taking anything other than that and this pot as my 2 things. And then in here I have my stove, which is the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. I have a little spork that folds, and then one of these Swedish dishcloth pieces that I've cut off. I'm also gonna take a couple of extra little Swedish dishcloths. So these weigh next to nothing. They have a really good absorbency to them, and because I expect to deal with a ton of moisture, I want to have those with me so that I can wipe off the inside of my tent when I'm trying to get moving in the morning, my sleeping bag, whatever it is that is damp. I want to be able to have a little bit more than I usually would have in order to do that. So that is what I'm taking for cookware and for drying things. For footwear, I'm taking the Zero EV Trail sandals, not Cell. And these are just really lightweight. Once again, they're really simple, good sandal. I will use these for a variety of things, potentially for water crossings, definitely around camp at the end of the day to get my shoes off of my feet, especially because I expect my shoes to be probably pretty wet. And the shoes that I'm taking are a brand new pair of the Ultra Lone Peak 8. I got a couple extra pairs of the 8s before they brought the 9s in because I just really love the way these ones fit, and when I find something that I like, I kind of like to stick with it. So I'm taking a brand new pair because the biosecurity rules are so stringent and everything in New Zealand, so just out of precaution, I'm just gonna take a brand new pair with me since I have them anyway and use them over there. I've got my little Outdoor Research gaiters. They're just little simple gaiters, and they have the Velcro that will let me stick it to the back of my Lone Peaks, and then the little thing that connects to the lace up there. I have a couple things that I'm gonna be keeping with me on the plane. I don't want them to go into the cargo hold. This one can't go into the cargo hold because it is my battery, my external battery. It's a Nitecore Summit Series, 10,000 milliamps, so that's the battery that I'll be taking with me. Then I've got my water filter. I don't want this to go into the hold because where I'm leaving from is really cold and I don't want it to potentially be able to freeze. And then I have the Black Diamond Storm R rechargeable headlamp that I'm taking with me. This is a really good headlamp. It's really bright. The battery lasts a long time, so it should get me through probably with one recharge, I would guess, on this whole trip. So really good headlamp, absolutely love that thing. And then I'm gonna carry those in my little Osprey hip pack. So this weighs about 3 ounces and it's just a packable little hip pack. And I'm gonna be using that for when I'm in the airport and I don't have my checked bag. The backpack that I'm taking with me is the Osprey Asia 58 liter. This one is actually only a 55 liter because I wear the extra small size because I have a shorter torso. So this is a 55 liter pack, but it's called the Asia 58, made by Osprey. Absolutely love this bag. In the front, I have a compactor trash bag. This is gonna be my pack liner while I'm there. And then in the top lid, I have a gallon Ziploc bag. This will be my pack liner for all intents and purposes for the lid or the brain of my pack. So that's what I'm taking with me for my pack. I've got my Black Diamond Distance Carbon Z trekking poles. These are super lightweight, about 9 ounces for the pair. They're pretty durable. I use the 120 centimeter size and they're also gonna be what sets up my tent. So these are a crucial part of my setup. In here, I've got my little food bag. So I'm gonna be using the Outsack Ultra Light again. This one is the small size. It should be big enough for everything that I need to take. And I'm just keeping it in this because it is metal. So I don't want it sort of rubbing on the other stuff in my pack while it's in the cargo hold. So I'm just throwing it in one of those bags. I have my light first aid kit to go with me. I have a multi-tool. This has a little knife, screwdriver, scissors, tweezers, and then just some paracord. A couple of survival type items that I have is an emergency blanket and some hand warmers. I have more pairs that I'm gonna take with me. So if I use one on one of my treks, so I have 3 total because I'm hoping that I can fit in 3 hikes while I'm there. And I will have one for each just in case I end up needing to use it. If not, it'll just stay in the suitcase, so only carry one at a time is my plan. I have a small bag of miscellaneous items that I keep in this mesh bag. In here I have the bail handle for my pot, which is just a little metal handle for that in case I need to use it over a fire. I have a little brush which has a mirror on it, which can be useful in emergency situations for signaling. I have some hand sanitizer and some sunscreen for my face in particular. I'll use my sun hoodie most of the rest of the time to keep the sun off of my arms and my body. So for my clothing items, I do have some sort of mixed feelings in this area because I feel pretty comfortable with what I'm taking, but at the same time, I do feel like I have a little bit of excess. So I have my puffy, which is gonna be my main insulating layer, really crucially important layer for me. I've got my rain jacket, another absolutely crucially important item, something that I just am not willing to go without at all. It's a wind layer, it's a rain layer. In a country like this where it's coastal and basically rain all the time, it's gonna be super important. I'm taking a couple of brimmed hats to help keep the rain off of my face, I'll only have one of these in my backpack at a time, but I do plan to do a couple or several, hopefully different trips if I have time. So I'll be taking those. I have 4 sets of socks that I'm taking with me. I wear 2 socks at a time. So that is a total of 8 pairs of socks, which is a lot, but I wear 2 at a time, so I'm taking 4 sets of socks with me. And I'm trying out these, which are Sealskin's waterproof socks. I expect to run into a ton of water, so I'm gonna take those with me and see how they do. Fingers crossed that I like those. I've got a pair of down hybrid booties by Outdoor Vitals that I'm taking to keep my feet warm. I've got my rain skirt. I've got a beanie. This is a very old beanie that I've used a lot. I love that thing. I've got a bug head net. I've heard that these sand flies can be really bad. I don't really quite know what those are, but I'm not looking forward to finding out. I've heard they're terrible. I've got 2 sun hoodies, and I'll switch out between trips. I won't have more than one of these sun hoodies with me at a time. I'll just be really, really smelly. I've got 1, 2, 3 pairs of shorts total, 1 for each trek that I'm hopefully gonna be going on. I've got 2 pairs of pants that are both wind and rain resistant. I've got a couple of bras. I've got 1, 2, 3. Here's my 3rd shirt. I've got 3 shirts. That's all I'm taking, 1 per trip. I'll take 1 of these per trip. It's a fleece and a smart wool layer. I have the legging layers, which are, this one's 100% wool, this one's partially wool. I have a wool buff that I'll take. This can be used for a lot of different things. It can even be used as a towel for myself. And then I've got gloves and mittens. And there you have it. That is my whole pack. Let's see how much it weighs. And if you're looking for another video to watch after this, check out this one right here.